Someone that I can spend my life with, spend my life with. Someone that I can, someone that I can spend my life with, spend my life with. Look at me, I'm in love. Look at me, I'm in love. Someone that I can, someone that I can spend my life with, spend my life with.
All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is David Patrick Carey with Church of the Eternal Logos, and tonight I want to talk to you guys about Elon Musk, Grimes, and the AI God. And so tonight's stream was spawned from an article, actually, I read from Russian Faith. It's Russian Faith, Christian Resistance, and we're going to be diving into this article, and it's titled Elon Musk and His Pagan Witch Who Summoned a Computer God. Now, those of you who are a little bit privy to what's going on in culture know that Elon Musk and Grimes apparently just broke up. But Grimes, as some of you I'm sure are aware, is a sort of progressive, transgressive female musical artist. I never really got into her music, so I wasn't aware of who she was until more recently. Elon Musk, of course you guys know who that is, owner of Tesla, Solar City, SpaceX, the Boring Company, and of course Neuralink. And I guess he owns a few, doing a little bit of research for today's stream. He owns also some companies in regards to think tanks and sort of trying to put ethics in regards to the development of AI. So ironically, as we'll read the article, the only thing that I could come to a conclusion is that Elon Musk is like the greatest gaslighter of all time. He loves to gaslight us. And one of the frustrations I see in some of the alternative spheres is this sort of over-veneration or characterization of Elon Musk being super based. Oh, he gets it. Oh my gosh. But I don't see that. For those of you who don't know, while the pandemic first started, he got a federal license to shoot 5G satellites all into space, into the sky. And of course, he's been experimenting with Neuralink. I'm sure some of you guys have probably seen the videos with chimpanzees that are playing Pong on iPads and stuff like that with their brain. And the Neuralink, if you're not aware, is literally the implanting of a sort of computer device inside your brain. Now, anybody who has put a few dots together knows that this is ultimately the goal. So right now we're looking at stabbies worldwide being mandated, and I have to be super cautious now because retroactively YouTube could totally just shut down this YouTube channel because of our problematic discussions on public health. So I'm not a medical doctor, and I don't mean or ever plan on talking in public health terms. So YouTube, please forgive me. Please keep me on here for a little bit longer. But YouTube is definitely clamping down on the misinformation, as they put it. But we know that this is all leading towards a microchip. This is all leading towards a transhumanist future. And we know that people are interested in this, like Elon Musk and his tech billionaires. Now, what's funny, and we're going to get into Grimes, his ex-girlfriend apparently now, is that she's been posting a lot of content like on TikTok and stuff where she has been promoting communism. Now think about this. And I forgot to upload those. I'm going to have to upload these. I got all these funny photos of Grimes literally did a photo shoot, what it appears, while reading the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Engels. Yeah, I mean, I'm serious. She really did this. Meanwhile, she is dating the wealthiest man in the world. She's talking about communism. She's talking about you not being able to own anything and how great this is and how, you know what, actually our artificial intelligence, AI, this is our gateway to the communist utopia. And I'm going to show you some videos that she posted on TikTok promoting this idea. The broken brain syndrome, you can't tell if it's broken brain or it's just gaslighting. Because I think Elon Musk, he's a bit of a gaslighter, and I think he does it deliberately. And so it appears to the normie he's sort of straddling two sides of the fence, when really, in my opinion, he's totally in favor of the one world, one governmental system, a sort of technological revolution. He's openly bragged about how impressive China is, along with every other wannabe dictator and communist ruler. So I see Elon Musk as a bit of a troll, if you will. But it's funny how Grimes, if you do a little bit of research, Grimes, this transgressive artist that's promoting, progressive values and all this edgy stuff. Meanwhile, promoting communism, her parents, mom was a prosecutor in Canada. Her dad was a banker. The girl grew up wealthy. She grew up wealthy. And meanwhile, she dates a billionaire, and herself is a multi-millionaire. She talks about, I don't even know what the name of their child is. So if you guys know how to pronounce that, good on you. Good on you. But one of the things that I was thinking about in regards to today's topic, and really it's going to be a fun, relaxed stream where I got a bunch of articles and some videos to show. So we're just going to be hanging out and reading some articles. But this worship of matter, because this concept of the AI God, Elon Musk has spoke out openly in criticism of the AI God, and yet at other times seems like that's an inevitable consequence of where things are going. So again, seems like another gaslighting. But the AI God, what is the AI God? We're not going to be focusing too much on the singularity or immortality, the Ray Kurzweils of the world. I've done other streams on that. If you're interested in those, I did one on the elixir of life, the elixir of immortality. Go check that stream out if you want to hear more of a conversation on Ray Kurzweil, life extension, the quest for immortality. That's clearly wrapped up in the singularity, but part of the singularity too is a sort of exponential takeoff in artificial intelligence that can never be controlled and never be brought back. This is the AI God. This is the animation of technology itself coming into its own sort of cybernetic sentience that you and I, we should probably bow down and worship. And in fact, we're going to be getting into that in today's stream with a gentleman. What is his name? Anthony Lewandowski. Anthony Lewandowski, who's very famous for helping with like the Google Street images, self-driving cars, all this different stuff. And he has his own religion. Yes, I'm not kidding. He has his own religion called Way of the Future, where he's actively trying. Again, this guy has hundreds of millions of dollars. He's actively trying to create a religious AI, literally the incarnation of what he believes to be God. And so this isn't a theoretical thing. People in the Silicon Valley are actively pursuing these ends. What does it all mean? Well, in my mind, this is the sort of real existential competition to any sort of religious worldview. We can talk about, big tech, or we can talk about the U.S. government, and we can talk about Klaus Schwab. But the thing that is the real sword, the real backbone of this whole thing is technology and its advancement and the people who have their full belief in it. And this is a sort of worship of matter, a worship of matter. And I started thinking about the worship of matter, generally speaking, and how you look at Hermeticism, you look at the ancient pagan systems, you look at some of these ancient religions, and they worship statues that, though they had a statue of Moloch, they had a statue of Baal, they had a statue of Artemis, and people got down and they gave, go to China, go to India, they do food offerings, that's your puja. Puja is a Sanskrit term for literally taking food or bowls of things or money, for example, in China. Go to any tomb in China, and you're going to see Chinese money thrown all over the tomb because it's good luck to throw money onto the tomb. This is how, again, apparently these people can take it into the afterlife, right? But in India, it's very common for people to bring bowls of food up to a wooden idol, and this is puja. This is a sort of spiritual devotion. And this is replete throughout human history. This is obviously tied up with a sort of materialistic worship. Now, I'm not saying that Hindus just worship matter. I'm not saying that Chinese people just worship matter. And I mean, China is a little different circumstance. But the people who worship AI, the people who worship technology, they absolutely do worship matter. And where do the concepts of transcendence come in? It's hard to grasp. Even I watched some interviews with Grimes, and apparently she was always presented as this highly intellectual woman. Can you believe Grimes, when she went to college, she was a double major in philosophy and psychology, and she studied Russian, and meanwhile she talks about how she believes in ghosts and also believes that the AI God is inevitable and how AI is going to be our sort of train ticket to global communism. Now, I don't doubt that she's right about the global communism, and as Jay Dyer has showed in a lot of his extensive research on the globalist agenda, is that communism's funded by the wealthiest people in the world. And here we see it again. The girlfriend of arguably the wealthiest man in the world doing photo shoots, trying to promote the Communist Manifesto? Are you serious? Because really, you aren't worthy to own property. They are. Go look at their mansions. Go look at their houses. They own lots of things, but you're not allowed to own anything. And this is where you see the rhetoric of the Klaus Schwabs of the world, the COVID-19, the Fourth Industrial Revolution. But paganism and animating statues with demons has a historical practice. Hermeticism, if you've ever read the Hermetic Corpus, when he's talking to Asclepius, there's a whole section within the Hermetic Corpus where he's telling Asclepius exactly how do you harness, how do you pull down the animating energy of the stars into statues. And this was a form of ritual magic. And people then would worship these statues because they believed that the god lived inside them. Yes, the statue didn't move, the statue stayed there, but the energy, the essence, the ethereal nature of the god somehow existed inside the statue. And when you think about it, the AI god is the fulfillment of this desire. It's that man can create something and animate it with something that he isn't, that somehow transcends himself. And I started to think about, is it even possible, right? Is it possible for humanity to create something that ultimately transcends itself? Could God create something that could surpass God? Well, I would say no. And our ability to create anything is because we were made in the image of God, right? So this whole materialistic spirituality, this animating of materiality with sort of transcendent things, this is now the worship of intelligence, artificial intelligence, and these material non-living gods. But somehow this thing's going to become sentient. Somehow this thing is going to be everywhere at any point. As long as the technological grid, as long as the internet exists, as long, it can look at your social credit score in China or US, it can look at what you just purchased. And I started thinking, is technology the vehicle of the evil one? I don't know. I'm not saying it is, because obviously we're using technology right now to promote Christ, to promote traditional living, to promote things that we actually believe in. But it is a sort of Tower of Babel. It's a series of zeros and ones. It's a single language, if you will. I mean, there's multiple coding languages, but technology itself is a sort of Tower of Babel. And this is where you see the quest for the immortality, the elixir of life, the elixir of immortality, the Ray Kurzweils of the world, the singularity. I'm going to blend myself with machine. And you see this desire is always about eradicating, destroying the unique person that you are, made in the image of God. We as Orthodox Christians recognize that your personhood is essential. It's how you move about in the world. It's the basis for our theology, personhood, operations, essence. We don't begin our theology with essentialist claims. We relate to God on a personal level. The only ways that we can exude love is from a person to a person. We can't exude love from a person to an abstract machine, to an abstract, the world, the global village. I love humanity. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you actually don't want unstabbed people to even get health care, right? Meanwhile, previous year, healthcare was a human right, of course, but you see that personhood within our phronema, with our worldview, our paradigm, is essential for everything. But the transhumanist, the satanic delusion of lies, you see how people, the NPC is a sort of archetype, if you will, of the person blending with the machine. They lose their sense of uniqueness. And that's what Satan wants for all of us. Because that is ultimately what eternal hell is. What do we say when somebody dies as Orthodox? Memory eternal. Memory eternal. May your memory be eternal. Eternal memory. Because the idea is that as long as God remembers your name, which is the sort of linguistic attachment to who you are as a person, because only persons have names. That's how you stay in existence for eternity. It's through your personhood. Yet, this whole system is about destroying your personhood. It's about making you become a number. It's about eradicating the uniqueness of you in the name of better health. Well, life extent. Don't you want to live till you're 120? Don't you? And so now you see, well, we can, through transhumanism, we can make everybody live 120. We can make everybody non-gender. We can make everybody, everybody can have any eye color they want. They can have. Well, what is it? This is a sort of manufacturing of the same thing at scale. It's weirdly a sort of consumerism. It's a sort of capitalistic, consumeristic, manufacturing, industrial mindset that we're implementing in regards to ourselves. And so this is ultimately satanic. It has to be, right? I mean, you say, well, what's wrong? What is transhumanism? I got my leg blown off and I have a prosthetic leg. Is that transhuman? No, not really. No. Transhumanism, I would say a strong starting point is when you alter your DNA, when your genetic strand has been mutated by a code that was developed by somebody in a laboratory. I would say that's a really strong starting point for the transhumanists, the real transhumanists. And so this sort of wiggle room the promoters of transhumanism want to have is, well, what exactly is it? I mean, you wear glasses, don't you? No, glasses is not transhumanism. Technology, we need to be nuanced. And you see, when anybody tries to grab these large categories and then fit just a generalistic claim to try to rebut you, you got to be more conscientious of that. It's a dumb claim. Yeah, I use glasses. What does that have to do with me wanting to alter who I am as a person and what God made? It's not like I'm slicing or even altering my eyeball by wearing glasses or contacts. It's not changing my biology. It's not changing what God made. Yes, I made something. Man made something, a sort of technology to increase ourselves, to extend ourselves in the world. And then technology is an extension of ourselves. Obviously. Obviously, technology is an extension of ourselves. The wheel is a technology, right? These computers are technologies. These smartphones are technologies. Books, binding books was a technology. Look up Gutenberg. Look up the printing press. This is a technology. This is a techne, a means to an end. But when we start destroying what God created, this is ultimately rooted in a spirit of the evil one. It has to be. It has to be. And we see this with the whole thing going on in our society right now between those who are immunized and those who aren't, right? We'll just put it that way, okay? YouTube, please leave me alone. I'm trying to be a good boy. But we see, I just had a conversation with a gentleman at church today, and he works in the healthcare facility. His mother is very elderly, and she needed all these different types of scans. She needed to go to the hospital. She couldn't just do an online conversation, some Zoom meeting with some physician. She needed to go to the hospital. So they go. They even put their masks on. Because I know how he's very base, just like us. He has the same opinions. And he said, I must have had a sign on me. Because the animosity he began to receive, not just from the doctor, but all the nurses, the hostess, or the people sitting at the front desk, it was like they knew. And we were sitting there talking at church today, and I said, well, in a way, it reminds me that maybe... It reminds me of taking the idea that this is a spiritual war to a further degree. That those people have already complied. Those people have already destroyed pieces of their unique personhood. And any of us who are filled with the Holy Spirit, any of us who are filled with the Spirit of God, who are trying to do the right thing, move in the right ways, perceive the patterns that seem to be emerging in front of us, I think people can sense it. Those who have been taken over by a sort of possession, a possessive spirit, that this world, we can feel it. It's very palpable. And not even for the most religious people, right? People who aren't religious at all. They're beginning to sense it. It's palpable that the sort of spirit is arising. And I wondered, is this spirit, this evil spirit, is it the AI God? Is this how Satan becomes incarnate? Is this one of the beasts? Obviously one of the beasts is the actual Antichrist, which will be a human. Of course, he'll be an inverted person of Christ. So I've read things that potentially he'll be a homosexual. He's going to be out of the tribe of Dan. most likely born in the region called the Golan Heights, which was recently taken over by your favorite country, I'm sure, Israel, our greatest ally. Who else would it be? And he's going to rule the world from Jerusalem. And so we see all the things of Christ, but they're inverted. He's going to be a military, a political leader. But is this going to be tied with Satan sort of taking on his new clothing, his new cloak, which would be the AI, the technology itself? Because Satan, he can't see into the future. He's a created entity just like us. And so it's like he's used people to create something out of our fallen image so that he can inhabit it. Potentially. I'm just throwing this out there. This is an idea I was just thinking about. I need to think about this a little bit. I need to do more research, but this was something I was thinking about. You know, could the AI God be like the absolute, like, because Satan can't be anywhere at any time. But if he were to take on the clothing of technology itself, if he were to be the AI God, he would have a sort of ability that he doesn't have naturally. God didn't give him the ability to be anywhere at once, but if he was the artificial intelligence, if he was the AI God, he sort of could be. I thought this was a very interesting idea. And I couldn't help, and you see so many of the people who are promoting the AI God and the transhumanist future, they don't actually believe in a transcendent power. They don't believe in a real God. So they can do anything they want in regards to ethics and morality. They believe mathematics is objective, yet then Elon Musk is okay with Grimes and their son not being gendered until he decides his gender. Well, don't you believe in XX and XY chromosomes? Don't you believe in a biological reality that affects children and how they perceive the world? So there's like a schism there between how man, and it's not like, in a way, the sort of apotheosis of the transhumanism. Some people do believe themselves that they're going to become God per se. But in a way, I would say some of these people perceive themselves as, for example, the AI proponents who believe in the AI God, they believe in something that's far superior to them. So they don't believe themselves to be God per se, but the way that they redefine all the non-physical energies of God. And so notice with this transhumanist, with the AI God, that it's a God that you can see and touch. What do atheists say to you? You know, again, the very basic arguments, the basic rebuttals we've all heard. Oh, well, if God is real, show me him. You know, I want to touch him. Well, you could if you lived in Palestine 2,000 years ago. You could. You know, we could say, okay, well, here, you can go touch him. This is the one special time in human history in which that which created creation enters his own creation through a process of kenosis where he limits his own omnipotence and omnipresence to be fully human. Show me another religion that's claimed that. Show me another religion that says that happened so then we can participate in his omnipotent energy. Not that we're going to be omnipotent, but we can become gods by grace. This is theosis. And so the atheists want to say, hey, you believe in God. Hilarious. Show me him. And so you see how Satan, again, he's always the subverter. He's always the inverter. And how he is, this AI God is a God that people can see. They can touch. They can witness it. They can see its effects in the world. You know, if I just started sitting here on this stream and started saying certain words, we'd see the AI pick it up real quick. So I couldn't help but think about how this is a God that you can see and touch. And in the process of creating this God that you can see and touch, the same proponents invert all the uncreated energies of God that you can't see and touch. They invert the concepts of reason and logic, of truth, of mercy and compassion. What is mercy and compassion? Well, it's for those who comply to the larger agenda. You know, if you're not, then you're probably selected through Darwinian Wallace theory of evolution that you don't need to be here anyways. So, and this is progress. This is the future. This is how we move forward. It makes no sense that you see that this worship, this movement towards a materialistic God, involves a redefining of the immaterial energies of our God, of the Holy Trinity. And I thought that was really interesting. And so is technology the vehicle of the evil one? I don't know. And could it fully be his vehicle? I don't know, because God uses everything for both good and bad, right? God doesn't, Satan can never win. He's the definition of a loser. Now, he can obviously manipulate, he can harm, he rules this world. He's the king of this realm, so to speak. But at the same time, he knows being able to exhibit influence within space-time, but existing ultimately outside of it, he knows he loses in the end. He can't win. And so that's why he's so anxious to get your soul, to get that little piece of you that's also created like he is, but reflects the eternality of its creator, our souls, the piece of us that is outside space-time, that isn't material. And so he wants that thing real bad. And so is the AI his vehicle that he can cause as much harm to humanity as possible, that he can claim as many souls as possible? I don't know. It's an interesting thought, right? It's an interesting thought that if his goal was to take people's souls, could it be that technology and sort of becoming technology would be the best way for him to be able to do that? Because that's going to allow him to be in more places at once. The messages, the lies, the degeneration of our morality, the inversion of our society, the sexualization of children. We see technology promoting and proliferating all these things. And all this stuff it's all harming people's souls. And in fact, it's going to claim them eventually. It's going to claim them. And we're all going to have to face our judgment. And how we related and use technology is going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. And we can see how it's been moving in an opposite paradigm from you and I. And so these are the kind of things that I want to get into today. I just wanted to open with reflecting on this topic a bit, because I think it's really interesting, and I do see the transhumanism, the technology, as the biggest threat to whatever it is that that we are. What traditionality, nationalism, what is it? Human, just the full humanity. I mean, think about it. Christ, our God, the Logos became a man. Our God became a man, not a machine, not a statue, not something that not an idol we would sacrifice our children to, i.e. Moloch. Our God became a man. And so we then, as individuals, as persons made in the image, sitting here listening to this stream or whatever you're doing, which side are you going to take? Are you going to lose your personhood? Are you going to become a number, a system, a cog in the machine? Again, another technological reference there, no pun intended. Yes, it was intended. I lied. But are you going to lose your uniqueness? Are you going to lose the image of God? Are you going to lose your own humanity? To what? Be able to live 120 years? But then they lied because it's actually full of spike protein. No. But what are you going to do? You're going to sacrifice your body to technology? And this is what people are doing now. That, it's for science. Don't you believe in science? You literally see people sacrificing themselves on the altar of science. And that gives them a sense of pride. Well, again, think about from a Christian worldview, what would Christ call us to do? To become more human. And this is something that my priest, we even got into today, he hammers on a lot. And I love my priest. Shout out to Father Athanasius if you happen to see this. Father Athanasius was speaking today, and he says this often. how Christ was the first person to be fully human. Think about that. Fully human. It was Christ that actually reached the potentials that you and I are capable of. Now, again, we're so fallen, our nature, we'll probably never reach those. Definitely in regards to sin, compassion, mercy, understanding, all these things. We'll never reach that level. But our God took on human flesh, took on materiality, but he took on what you and I already are. Think about that. Again, and he did it in a time before all these machines. Are we in the end times? I don't know. It's certainly looking like we're moving towards it. But our God became a man, and he was the full extent of what a man is. And so we have a decision. Are we going to maintain our humanity? Or are we going to blend ourselves with technology? Are we going to lose ourselves in the abyss? Whether it be the abyss of Buddhism. Again, you look at Eastern mysticism, you look at everything that's not Orthodox Christianity, where it's all about our personhood. We have to preserve our personhood. You look at all these other worldviews, and it's about dissolving it. Your personhood's an illusion. Don't you know that? Don't you know that that's an illusion? You got to lose that. You got to become one with the global consciousness, the panpsychic reality of the universe. You got to become one with the universe. All this stuff is an eradication of one's personhood, and we see it in the materialistic religion of technology itself. Now, would these people say they're religious? No. But what makes something religious? Now, you can look in the 7 Dimensions of Religion by Ninian Smart, but just another way to frame it is that it's about ultimate questions, ultimate reality. What is it? Is there a spiritual reality? Well, these people don't believe there is one. And some of them do. That's the other thing, is that that'd be a whole nother stream, and I will do that in the future, is the occultism of Silicon Valley. The occultism of this whole technological futuristic utopia. And why is it that they always want utopia in this life? Because they're so numb. Their nous is so darkened and so tainted that they can't even sense, they can't even feel that this life goes by in a flash, and that the real utopia is that which is inside eternity. But it's tied with their materialistic presuppositions, right? It's always within space and time, so they have to make utopia. You see it within the millenarianism of Protestantism. When Protestantism came to North America, you had waves of the millenarian anticipation here within the United States. And the United States has always been afflicted with this millenarianism. And so for those of you who don't know, millenarianism as opposed to apocalypticism, an apocalyptic expectation is things are going to get really bad. It's going to be the end of the world, right? There's going to be disease and drought and all. Well, millenarianism is more of a hopeful expectation that we'll reach that utopian point, that things are going to get better and better and better. And there's been multiple millenarian waves within American Protestantism. But you see it, you could look at Terence McKenna and his sort of materialistic spirituality in regard to the use of psychedelics for transcendence. You see transcendence then is tied to material. Same thing with the singularity. It's just a computer. It's just ones and zeros. It's a new understanding. It's still materialism is what's going to take you towards quote-unquote transcendence. But there's this millenarian expectation. He thought, it's 2012. The space, the time travel machines are going to come back, and history is going to end, because once you can traverse time, there is no more history. That didn't work. That didn't happen, right? The Mayans weren't right. It wasn't the end of the world in 2012. But you see, whether it be Timothy Leary or Robert Anton Wilson or Terence McKenna or the Silicon Valley geeks, there's a sort of millenarianism, and we're going to see it today in Grimes. It's the same millenarian expectation for utopia on this side of eternity. And that is always the plan of the evil one, because it doesn't work that way. We live inside duality. There's always going to be good and bad. There's always going to be rich and poor. You can't get rid of these things. And when you try, you're fighting nature itself, and therefore it can only lead to more horrors. Look at the history of communism, the Soviet Union, Mao Zedong. Look at Vietnam. Look at all over the world. Look at Cuba. And sure, there might be advantages to a sort of centralized structure in different ways, but there may be advantages to socialism. If we're going to be Christians, obviously we want to help the poorest among us in certain ways. We need safety nets, but we need to be nuanced in how we approach these things. And so how funny is it then? Everything that I said should bring a little background and perspective of why Grimes, a multi-millionaire, a musician, dating and has a baby with the wealthiest man in the world, is promoting the Communist Manifesto? What? That doesn't even make sense. But it does. When you see that they are literally fighting reality to get utopia on this side of eternity, and that is always the agenda of the evil one. Because that is the ultimate inversion of what heaven and the heavenly kingdom is. And I think this is ultimately what we face. So please smash that like, guys, if you can. I'm going to do a quick little housekeeping. As always, if you appreciate what we're doing here on Church of the Eternal Logos and you would like to support, the best way to support Church of the Eternal Logos is becoming a website member. You can do so for $5 a month using the following link here. I just posted it in the live chat. I have a video library of multiple videos, and I'll be putting out a new video this week for members. If you would like to support what it is I'm trying to do, for $5 a month, you can get access to an exclusive video library of which there's multiple videos already done, second halves to different videos, this or that. And you can also help me out, and I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. So if you don't want to donate and use Streamlabs and do all that stuff, I get it. If you could, and you're in a financial position, which you can, I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but become a website member. I'd greatly, greatly appreciate that. Also, I think we may have one more slot for this Thursday. If you would like to sign up for a one-on-one session, whatever it is that you would like to talk about, be it theology or philosophy or anything of that nature, you can do so with the link that I just posted. We can talk about fitness, we can talk about health, we can talk about goal setting, any of these things by signing up for a one-on-one session. Now, I will be on vacation next week. I'm actually spending a week in South Carolina with some family. So reach out privately. Any of the orthosphere in South Carolina, I'll be in Hilton Head next week. So I'll be there with family. We can always meet up on the beach, have a pina colada, and have a good time. So you can do so. You can sign up for a one-on-one, and I do expect to try to do my one-on-ones next week on Thursday. I'll let you know based on how many people sign up if I can or can't, or if I'm going to push it back for the following week. And then also, guys, if none of those two options sound appealing and you'd like to get some merch, you can do so with the following link. I got shirts and hats and stuff over at the shop. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Also, want to say, for any of those who would be interested in our online courses, our online classes, no, not mine personally, I will have those eventually, but Subdeacon Mark, my godfather, shout out to him. He does a Orthodox inquiry class. I think it's an 8-week thing, and they've already done 1 week, so I think there's 7 more weeks of the inquiry class on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock. We also, every Wednesday night from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we have a theology course where we dive deep, no holds bars, for anybody is welcome, on Orthodox theology. We dive really deep into that. That's on Wednesday nights from 7 to 9. And then on Sundays, like today, we tend to do a Bible study. We're working through Ephesians, and we'll be starting chapter 5 in Ephesians next Sunday. So if you would like to join that, you can do so with my Linktree link over at my Telegram page. So my Telegram is where you get the links to all these Zoom meetings. They're all Zoom meetings. They're open to the public. Anybody can join. If any of these things sound exciting to you or interesting, whether it be the inquiry class, you've just heard of orthodoxy, you want to learn the basics. I want to learn the absolute basics so, Patrick, I can understand a little bit better what you're talking about. Sign up. Again, you don't have to sign up. Just go to the inquiry class. I post the link in my Telegram for my Church of the Eternal Logos and the group chat. You can do so there. The Wednesday is the theology, and Sunday is the Bible study. So that takes care of that. So don't want to say any more there. Now, I do have a few memes here. I want to grab these real quick because I found them hilarious. So these are of Grimes and her new prophecy. I'm joking there. I'm just referring to her as this quote unquote prophet, if you will, of her wanting to promote communism. So here's this little shindig. This clearly a staged photo. I mean, who wears that type of outfit? Of course. So I don't know. Is she a wizardess? I don't know. So she's a witch? I don't get it. This is one of the photos that she clearly had somebody take of her reading the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. Hilarious. And here is another one of these. Oh. I would be embarrassed. I honestly, if I was her, I would be embarrassed. Like the irony is so. And the other thing I was thinking, is she just gaslighting us? Is this just gaslighting? That a woman who is a multi-millionaire dating Elon Musk, I believe the wealthiest man in the world, is also promoting communism online? It has to be a troll, right? It has to be a sort of gaslighting. I don't know. But in addition, I thought this was hilarious that I saw shared online as well. This is who Grimes, I guess, thinks she is. Yes. This is how I've always wanted to envision Karl Marx. Unfortunately, it always looks better than it is. And communism is a sort of tranny theology. So I thought this meme was hilarious. This was trying to mock Grimes and her new promoting of communism. In fact, I'll show you the whole promoting of communism here. So let me take down this funny meme. Okay. Here you go. Okay, so let me scoot on over here. So here's this little article on The Independent where Grimes leaves TikTok users baffled with bizarre video about AI and communism. The singer said in video that enforced farming was not a vibe. Yes. And so think about anybody with a brain. Think about all these things that she talks about as like incredible, as utopianistic regarding her AI communist future. It all revolves around you not owning anything and not having access. Well, UBI, obviously, and Elon Musk has already been in favor of automating a lot of things. So, I mean, again, this is why I get so annoyed with any conservative that like promotes Elon Musk as this base dude. He wants the depopulation too, don't you? Haven't you ever heard him talk about the automating of the future and how everything's going to be automated? You know, we don't need any more truck drivers. She's talking about that. We don't need any more farmers. We don't. Oh, why? I don't get it. And so that all those things are going to involve people being lesser in number. So I guess that would involve a sort of depopulation plan. Huh. Surely they wouldn't do that, though, right? They would never do that. It's exactly what's going on. And so you hear, Elon Musk may say a thing or two about criticizing some of the mandates, right, that are occurring here, but ultimately they're in favor of it. And you know that they're not taking it. That's the thing. How funny is it that these mandates, now I'm sure you've seen how Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, they're not mandating them. You've probably seen how the White House, Congress, not mandating them. You look at many of the countries around the world, the people who would be described as the elite, or the people with the power, the people in parliaments, and, look at the UK. Well, the parliament doesn't have to get it, but everybody else does. Why? This is about depopulation. This is about population control. This is about moving toward the fully automated future that these people want. This is about the technological overthrow of our society. This is about the AI. This is about the AI God. And who is that God? Again, I obviously think it's the evil one. But anyways, I'm rambling again. Looking at Grimes here. So the article shows Grimes has baffled TikTok users by sharing a bizarre video in which she claims that artificial intelligence AI could help create a communist utopia. In a video shared on Wednesday, the singer, who is married to, I guess I didn't know that they were married. I thought they were just dating. So that's news to me. So I guess Elon Musk's ex-wife, that in a video that who is married to Tesla billionaire, yes, arguably the wealthiest man in the world, Elon Musk, shared her proposition for the communists. So typically most of the communists I know are not big fans of AI. But if you think about it, AI is actually the fastest path to communism, Grimes said. If implemented correctly, AI could actually theoretically solve for abundance. Like, we could totally get to a situation where nobody has to work. Everybody is provided for with a comfortable state of being, a comfortable living. Again, well, what if some of us want to work? And that's where you see this isn't about freedom. You're not going to be able to do what you want to do. Oh, you want to be a farmer? Yeah, you don't get that opportunity because this is about equality. And so you don't get to grow the seeds and the food that you want. You don't get to grow your organic whatever. No, you have to grow what we want. It's all going to be it's for equality. It's for, again, the centralization of power. And again, because these people are ultimately ruled by a spirit of evil. And that was the thing. Even I watched a video on who Grimes was for preparation. One of the stories that she claims and told this reporter was that when she was a little girl, she went through a Wiccan phase. And in this Wiccan phase, she got into ritual magic. And in the use of ritual magic, she said that she watched a rosary dissolve in her hand or in front of her. I forget. It was either in her hand or right in front of her. So is that story true? I don't know. But she claims that she's practiced magic and has seen its effects. And you just look at her. It's like there's something wrong with this person. I would argue it's a sort of possession. And you look at like even how she's already been involved with some of the transhumanist stuff. I think one of the articles we're going to read on Russian faith talks about how she's already used a sort of transhumanist experiment in regards to the eyeball and slicing off a layer of your eyeball where you no longer can view blue light or something like that. And this is a way to minimize depression. So anywho, but let's watch this quick TikTok video. It's pretty laughable. The musician then said that AI could automate farming and weed out systematic corruption in order to bring about genuine equality without the need for a collective farm. Because let's be real, enforced farming is really not a vibe, she ended the video. The clip was widely shared on Twitter while TikTok users were left utterly confused by the clip. So why is Grimes, here's the clip, why is Grimes talking about communism on TikTok in front of a Berserk manga panel? So
I have a proposition for the communists. So typically, most of the communists I know are not big fans of AI. But if you think about it, AI is actually the fastest path to communism. So, if implemented correctly, AI could actually theoretically solve for abundance. Like, we could totally get to a situation where nobody has to work, everybody is provided for with a comfortable state of being, comfortable living. AI could automate all the farming, weed out systematic corruption, thereby bringing us to as close as possible to genuine equality. So basically, everything that everybody loves about communism, but without the collective farm. Because let's be real, enforced farming is really not a vibe.
Wow. Such intelligence, such insightfulness. And I'm sure that was probably, that video may be taken in the mansion that she owns, I think, in the LA area of 3,000 square feet plus. So definitely a true communist at heart, given the hypocrisy. That's usually how communism works, is that the wealthiest people, the people of luxury, the people of access and power are the ones who want to implement communism so they can take away your right to ever get to where they're at. Meanwhile, again, you see the inversion, you see the broken brain syndrome, where these people don't, in the name, so they're either malicious or they're just dumb, because they think they want to help you. They literally have it. I mean, communism has killed more people than Hitler could have dreamed of. And yet you see this woman who probably has millions of young, impressionable minds following her, promoting communism. And then again, the photo op that I took you or showed you. I mean, look how staged this is. Who dresses like that? Who walks around reading Karl Marx? And it's a very prominent, even the book cover, right? You can get Communist Manifesto books where you can't tell what the hell she's reading, but she definitely has a book that you can definitely tell what it is she's reading. It's so staged. It's so pathetic. It's so stupid. You just want to almost pull your own hair out. It's ugh. So anyways, finishing up this article, it says, why is Grimes, of all people, talking about communism on TikTok in front of a berserk manga panel? One comment read. Another social media wrote, Grimes just posted a new TikTok talking about communism and how artificial intelligence is good. Skull emoji. There's nothing I can do for her. Yeah, this one says, Grimes, your partner is literally the top capitalist in the world. I don't know what that is. But, I mean, it's just so stupid. Many pointed out the singer's hypocrisy, having once identified as communist before marrying Musk. Yes, I'm a communist. I'm going to marry the wealthiest man in the world. Who made that money through capitalism. Not that I'm promoting capitalism as like a false dialectic here, but you see my point. Grimes, your partner is literally the top capitalist, yada, yada, yada. Anyways, this article here is the one that kind of prompted today's stream, and I want to read this to you. This comes from Russian Faith, and I'm going to share this link. This was a really good article, so anybody who may want to read this one, check it out. I thought this was a really interesting article, and so let's zoom in here and take a look. Okay, so Elon Musk and his pagan witch who summoned a computer god. Grimes gave birth to Musk's demonic vision, not simply his child. And so everyone knows the old saying, and this makes sense because, again, even to Grimes' own admission, she has, and I don't know if she said she still does, practice ritualistic magic. So, she, again, if you look at the lyrics of some of her songs, you look at the imagery of her music videos, clearly a satanic element, clearly. Anyways, this says, everyone knows the old saying, quote, behind every technocrat is a transhumanist sorceress, unquote. Nothing lasts forever, though except the immortal soul and silicon. And the tradition of celebrity lovebirds, Elon Musk just announced he's splitting up with the techno-pagan pop star Grimes, or C, or War Nymph, or whatever she's calling herself these days. But the world's richest man assured gossip writers they're still on good terms. After all, Musk and Grimes gave their son whatever to raise. Some say he has his father's eyes. I have no idea. But look how dumb even I think the name of their son is a sort of code or it's an equation. It may be a sort of computer equation, I believe what it is. And mind you, this son of Grimes and Elon Musk, she's openly talked about how she is not going to gender it, that this child's going to grow up and he's going to assert what his gender is once he's able. So God bless him for sure. For the consumer class, celebrity technocrats are exalted as idols. Even after their nasty separation, Bill and Melinda Gates are adored as heroic philanthropists. Yes, all those shots that they give all those Africans because they love them so much. You know, Bill Gates loves the third world. He really does. Bill and Melinda Gates, they just give so much money to stop polio in the third world. Ask all those Indian women. Ask all those Kenyan women that can't give birth anymore how much they just love the philanthropy of the Gates Foundation. On a spiritual level, Mark Zuckerberg and his wife Priscilla Chan represents a postmodern fusion of Western Judaism and Eastern Buddhism. As cultural icons, Musk and Grimes blend their high-tech expertise with her dark transhumanist vision. Grimes' pop fantasies, deeply rooted in futurism and the occult, are being realized along Musk innovations. In the same way that rock and roll foretold America's current chemical dependency and loose sexual norms, rave culture is a herald of fashionable technocracy. Kneeling to the highest power. Even as a casual techno fan, I never paid attention to Grimes until a wise right-wing blogger noticed her 2018 single, Reappreciate Power. The catchy, if intensely irritating track is a hymn to a super-conscious computer god. The lyrics portray humanity living in a virtual simulation, ruled over by divinized artificial intelligence, to whom every knee shall bend. Almost sounds like a spirit of the Antichrist inverting that which is Christ, the real King of Kings, the real person who every knee shall bow. The sappy bridge is about uploading the mind to achieve digital immortality. Here are some of the lyrics. Biology is superficial. That's what God created. Intelligence is artificial. No. Submit. Wow, that sounds like somebody who really loves freedom, doesn't it? They just love personal freedom. I just can really appreciate that. I don't know about you guys. The song may be the most annoying sound anyone's made since Billy Idol recorded Neuromancer in 1993. But hearing Grimes pray to AI on YouTube with over 23 million views and counting, it seems like a significant cultural moment. Maybe it's her romantic connection to Elon Musk, the tycoon who plans to sell Neuralink brain implants for cognitive enhancement to populate cities with scrawny robot slaves. A man who advocates universal basic income while praising China as a global leader in digitalization. Or maybe the starlet is unsettling on her own merits. Celebrities do all sorts of weird things, but Grimes takes it to future shock levels. She claims to have eliminated blue light from her vision, quote, through an experimental surgery that removes the top film of her eyeball and replaces it with an orange ultraflex polymer as a means to cure seasonal depression. Because, of course, all of us, don't you hate those bouts of seasonal depression? Maybe if you weren't a witch, maybe if you weren't an idiot, you wouldn't have seasonal depression. Just a thought. The singer says that she gobbles a handful of supplements a day to amp up her mitochondria. Quote, from that point, unquote, she told her 2.1 million Instagram fans, quote, I spend 2 to 4 hours in my deprivation tank. This allows me to astroglide to other dimensions, past, present, and future. Yes, she believes that she is a psychic time traveler. So again, consistent with all the things that we hear about the sort of paganistic, magical expectations. And you hear this stuff within the psychedelic realms of, again, astral projection. I'm sure some of you guys probably already participate in those things. Thank God you're safe now, but you open yourself up to potential possession when you go into those realms. But anyways, I digress. Her stories may be as preposterous as Musk's fully autonomous Tesla, but in both cases, it's the symbolism that counts. As every parent or school teacher knows, a primary instinct behind cultural evolution is monkey see, monkey do. Role models replicate from the top down. In 2020, Grimes released Miss Anthropocene, a, quote, concept album about the anthropomorphic goddess of climate change, a psychedelic space-dwelling demon beauty queen who relishes the end of the world, unquote. Yes, guys, you literally cannot make, this is a quote from her, guys. This is a quote from Grimes. Let me read this again. From her song Miss Anthropocene. A concept album about the anthropomorphic goddess of climate change. So you've heard me talk openly about how climate change and its rhetoric about restructuring our morals, our ethics, the entire ways in which we go about our existence here on this earth is a sort of reimagining pagan earth goddess worship, and how it's ultimately, we talk about Gaia. You can talk about James Lovelock's The Gaia Hypothesis, and I've mentioned this before. So she's reiterating the same thing that I've highlighted in previous streams as well. And it's a psychedelic space-dwelling demon beauty queen who relishes the end of the world. Wow. How nice. As a foil to this deity, Grimes created a bald baby avatar dubbed War Nymph to inhabit our new age of social media and virtual reality. Quote, everyone is living two lives, she told The Face. Quote, their digital life and their offline life, she added. This is a quote from her. The avatar allows us to play to the strengths of digital existence rather than be a human trying to navigate the world that isn't made for us. Okay, so even right there. Remember, I opened this stream by talking about how our God, as Christians, became a man. That the fullest existence on this earth is to be human. To be human. And she talks about how we are to, that being human, that we're trying to navigate a world that isn't for us. What are you talking about? We also wanted to develop a new species that would be ready for the next evolution in media. Something that can transport our identities to worlds that simply can't exist in reality. I'm also pregnant. She went on to describe something that resembles a personal philosophy. The existence of consciousness seems like God to me, and we've talked about this over and over again, right? Low vibrational understanding of reality by saying, God is consciousness. And how do you know that? And where did the consciousness come from? I mean, you have heard of Aristotle and the unmoved mover, right? You're making an essentialist claim. I'm just trying to understand, is consciousness eternal? Does it have a beginning point? Is it tied to the universe? Is it 13.8 billion years old? Oh, maybe we've been looking outside ourselves for the answer, says Grimes, but perhaps we are the answer. Or maybe we're in a simulation that is more purposeful, being run by someone with a plan. As I get deeper, I become less skeptical of intelligent design. So think about that. She's not skeptical of intelligent design, so that would be God-created creation, right? Yet at the same time, the one here, she said that that humans are trying to navigate a world that isn't made for us, that she's fine. She's that the simulation might be more purposeful than your perceived reality. The simulation is more purposeful, she says, and it's being run by someone with a plan. Now you can see why she would be such an advocate for communism, central planning, because I guarantee you that she, especially being the wife of Elon Musk, has been offered insight to some of these powerful planning meetings. As I get deeper into hell, I become less skeptical of intelligent design. Yeah, you fell right into an unintelligent design by the evil one, that's for sure. Typical of a flaky pop stars, Grimes is both inspired and totally incoherent. Given that freedom, she offers a window into the scattered mentality of our cultural elite. Last year on Earth Day, her war nymph avatar declared, quote, "A capitalist, socialist technocracy would be ideal. Strong safety net, compensation for motherhood, leadership via ethical tech like lab-grown meat, cruelty-free." Yes, because she also is absolutely on the ship to not eat meat. So that was another thing I saw in my preparation for today's stream, is that Grimes does not believe in the eating of meat. In her worldview, it is evil. Of course, her ritual magic isn't. That's not evil. But if you eat beef, oh my. So she's a vegan, and she was talking about how great the Impossible Burger is, but we can do better, she says. Earlier this year, she hopped on TikTok to convince her commie pals that, quote, AI is the fastest path to communism because it would automate all the farming and weed out the systematic corruption and thereby bring us as close as possible to genuine equality. To her credit, Grimes may have been the only star to wear a mask at this year's Met Gala, albeit a flashy cyborg mask, perhaps in solidarity with the faceless servants who cowered before the naked-faced celebs. Or maybe it was just the germaphobe fashion, like the bloody PPE mask worn by fallen angels in her prescient 2016 video, Kill 5. Or is it Kill V? I don't even know. So, dance parties in the age of the child. Grimes is hardly a lone voice. Transhumanist aesthetics pervade today's pop culture. You see in Lil Nas X's Panini as the gay performer and his robot gang cyberstalk a young woman through a holographic cityscape. You see it in K-pop band, and I don't even know who this is, aespa's battle against the evil Black Mamba. Their parents, who blocks the girls from uniting with the digital twins. You see it in the work of Grimes' collaborator Brooke Candy, whose opulent stage persona is a cyborg stripper. Techno fetishism has even slithered onto the main stage. The fact that Lady Gaga has chosen to sing the national anthem at Joe Biden's inauguration has a deep symbolic significance. The pop superstar who puts the, quote, trans and transhumanism also openly avows the occultism Marina Abramovich as her spiritual mentor. By pure coincidence, on Easter of 2020, we saw Microsoft launch their HoloLens 2 ad featuring Abramovich's augmented reality exhibit, The Life, of which, again, I don't know if you guys remember that, but Microsoft had to take down that video because so many people pointed out her satanic, those little dining rituals that they do where they make food to look like humans, but it's not humans, right? But actually humans are in it. So, yeah. Quote, there is always this great ideal of immorality. Abramovich said of her digital twin, once you die, the work of art will never die. Here, I am kept forever. The marriage of tech culture to the occult goes back more than a century. It is implied in the apocalyptic themes of Carl Sapek's 1920 play Rossum's Universal Robots, and made explicit in the robotic seductress featured in Fritz Lang's 1927 film Metropolis. Artists like Grimes are simply absorbing and amplifying these older cultural forms. It may sound like bubblegum to older listeners, but some pop stars sing, the next generation is listening. When I look away from my laptop and watch the birds flit around the Douglas firs outside, none of this seems real. Then a Californian will call and tell me about autonomous Teslas humming down the freeway, or a friend working in tech will alert me to new advances in artificial intelligence. As I pore over the avalanche of literature on brain-computer interfacing, virtual reality, nanorobotics, and the ongoing neurological impact of digital media, I've no doubt that these techno-pop stars are right about what's coming down the pike. Art is usually 2 steps ahead of history. The human race is facing a civilization transformation. We are witnessing the fusion of the physical, digital, and biological worlds. How many of us are prepared to confront that reality? And that concludes this article. And I want to lead this then into the new church. All hail the AI God. Check this out.
Anthony Lewandowski is the founder of Way of the Future, a religious organization dedicated to the realization of a Godhead based on artificial intelligence. It sounds crazy, but he might be the man who could make it happen. He's one of the driving forces behind the self-driving AI at Google's Waymo and Uber. He's also an incredibly polarizing figure. Lewandowski got his start in AI building a self-driving motorcycle for a DARPA competition while he was still a student at Berkeley in 2005. His bike, called Ghost Rider, didn't win, but it was impressive enough to get a place in the Smithsonian. It also got the attention of Stanford robotics professor Sebastian Thrun, who hired Lewandowski in 2006 to work on a Street View-like mapping tool. Google bought the tool in 2007, and Thrun and Lewandowski took over Street View. On the side, Lewandowski had started a company called 510 Systems that was supplying a key component to Street View's mapping cars. It was a bit of a conflict of interest, but Street View was successful enough that his bosses didn't mind. In fact, Google was so happy with Street View that it let Thrun and Lewandowski focus on whatever interested them most. So they started working on self-driving cars. Lewandowski's side startup kept providing self-driving vehicle tech to Google, and he eventually convinced Google to acquire it. Lewandowski brokered the deal in a way that let him walk away with millions, while most of his co-workers got nothing. He later said, "I regret how it was handled." At Google, Lewandowski's pushy, driven nature irked some team members, but it also got results. The self-driving cars progressed quickly, and he was able to get clearance to test them on Nevada streets. But he lost his footing at Google when his mentor and boss Thrun moved elsewhere, and Google brought in a new leader Lewandowski didn't get along with. Lewandowski ended up leaving Google's self-driving project, now called Waymo, and founding Otto, the self-driving truck company subsequently purchased by Uber. At Uber, Lewandowski found a new friend and mentor in Travis Kalanick, but things haven't gone smoothly since then. Under Lewandowski, Uber struggled to get its self-driving cars on the road. Then Waymo filed suit against Uber, alleging that Lewandowski downloaded 10 gigabytes of secret Google technology just before resigning. Neither Kalanick nor Lewandowski are at Uber anymore. Both were fired this year. And Lewandowski could be on the hook for criminal charges of theft of trade secrets if the U.S. attorney opts to pursue them. But in the meantime, Lewandowski's got plenty to do. He's got a self-driving truck spin-off that Uber didn't buy, and he's got his new AI-focused religious organization. No one knows exactly what that is, but if anyone can build an AI god, it might just be Anthony Lewandowski.
All right, so now let's go over to this little jewel of an article here. The new church of the AI God is even creepier than I imagined. Commentary, Way of the Future, which this is the religion that Anthony Lewandowski is forming, The Godbot religion, founded by former Google executive Anthony Levandowski, has a website and, technically incorrect, offers a slightly twisted take on the tech that's taken over our lives. I've been praying that more would come to light ever since the existence of a Godbot religion called Way of the Future was revealed this fall. All the time, Wired's Mark Harris said he'd seen state filings from California that revealed a religion with AI as its god. Charmingly, he said it was founded by Anthony Levandowski, the former Google, Waymo, and Uber engineer, now embroiled in a lawsuit brought by Alphabet-owned Waymo against Uber. He's accused of stealing self-driving car secrets and exposing them to Uber, which has denied any wrongdoing. Now Harris has actually chatted with Lewandowski, who calmly explained the religion's origins. What is going to be created will effectively be a god. It's not a god in the sense that it makes lightning or causes hurricanes, Lewandowski told Harris. Quote, but if there is something a billion times smarter than the smartest human, what else are you going to call it, unquote. But if it's so clever, why can't it make lightning or cause a hurricane? It just takes a little global warming, surely. I'm enraptured by the fact that Way of the Future now has a website with a URL, quote, wayofthefuture.church. Let's go check it out real quick. Let's check out this bad boy. I wonder if it's still up. Come on, internet. Maybe it's been taken down. It doesn't look like... we'll see if it loads here in a second. I fear, though, that some of its content will cause an ungodly onset of teeth gnashing. Here's the very first line. Way of the Future, WOTF, is about creating a peaceful and respectful transition of who is in charge of the planet from people to machines. Machines? Has the site taken on the inverted comma vernacular of the average Donald Trump tweet? We're surely talking about machines. Yeah, it looks like the website, apparently the way that this website has it, it's not. Here, let's just put in Way of the Future and see what comes up. Maybe it doesn't exist anymore. Huh. Looks like the URL doesn't exist anymore. We're surely talking about machines, those plain, simple engineering creations. Way of the Future, though, can't stop with odd punctuation. Given that technology will relatively soon be able to surpass human abilities, we want to help educate people about this exciting future and prepare a smooth transition, it says. Relatively soon, Google's director of engineering, Ray Kurzweil, believes humans will be robot hybrids by 2030. Is that relatively soon? It feels disturbingly soon to me. Yeah, 2030. What else is 2030? Is that the great... Oh, it's the Great Reset. That's what it is. Yeah. 2030. That's the date. With every sentence, Lewandowski's church makes Scientology seem like a mere brotherhood of humanity. Hark at this. Quote, we should think about how machines will integrate into society and even have a path for becoming in charge as they become smarter and smarter, so that this whole process can be amicable and not confrontational. Unquote. Do you feel a touch of non-amicability creeping into your veins? WOTF, which I find myself abbreviating WTF, or at least WOTF, says that we've given rights to both sexes, minority groups, and even animals, so why not machines too? You may experience a revolutionary conniptions when you absorb the apparent inevitability of artificial intelligence taking over the world. Great. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now I have this. I'd love to show you guys this, but this is a monetized video, and that would definitely get my video taken down. But this right here is a robot developed in Japan. And this robot is apparently reading Buddhist scripture to people, and the creator wanted to bring people to the divine, so he created this robot, this female robot, this artificial intelligence, to read Buddhism to the people. And here's Jimmy. Let's see this. See if this opens up. And so this this robot here, I'll just play a clip, but I can't play much of it because it'll get taken down. She literally reads Buddhism to her audience, and she's supposed to be the embodiment of the goddess of mercy in Buddhism, which again, it depends on what sect or what type of Buddhism you're talking about, but we're just going to play a quick clip because this is going to get taken down.
The robot introduces itself as the Buddhist goddess of mercy.
Creepy. Very creepy. So I wanted to give you guys this URL, so if anybody wants to watch this video later, you can do so. Here is that URL. So do what you will with that. Now, I do have a few other articles here that I want to read to you guys real quick, and then we'll call it a stream. We're already at an hour and a half in. See, this one right here, and this one talks about how Elon Musk is quite critical of the creation of an AI god. Now, he's said, if you watch some of his videos, he seems that it is ultimately inevitable. Now, he doesn't refer to the AI as a god, but he does talk about a sort of exponential, intelligent, sentient machine that is going to be beyond human control, human capability. But in this one, I guess he got into a feud a while back with Mark Zuckerberg, which good for him. But I'm not a big fan of either one of these gentlemen. But I guess he was very critical of people like Lewandowski. So here, as we covered earlier this month, former Google engineer and ex-Uber employee Lewandowski has become infamous for not only his alleged theft of trade secrets from Google, but also for founding Way of the Future in 2015, a nonprofit religious organization created to, quote, contribute to the betterment of society, unquote, created, quote, to develop and promote the realization of a Godhead based on artificial intelligence, and through understanding and worship of the Godhead contribute to a betterment of society. Yes, let me read that again. To develop and promote the realization of a Godhead based on artificial intelligence, and through understanding and worship of the Godhead contribute to the betterment of society. Regardless of whatever way of the future represents a sincere theological movement dedicated to discovering an AI or is nothing more than a con man's tax-exempt cult, Musk seems decidedly determined to keep the reins of AI development away from the likes of Lewandowski. But again, who knows the state of all this stuff? So I just wanted to point that out, just to be fair here, that I guess Elon Musk has spoken critically of some of these things. And then here's an article on Inside the First Church of Artificial Intelligence. This is on Lewandowski. And this one I wanted to read to you guys. This is the AI God Paradox. And if you guys want to read this one, here, I'll share that link with you as well. So you can do so with that right there. So check this article out, though. The tech billionaires want to destroy the universe. Seriously. Let's zoom in here. First, they changed the way we bore ourselves online, revolutionized hotels, and taxis and minor financial transactions and gave us light bulbs that won't switch on if you haven't installed the right software driver. Now, it was always inevitable. They want to destroy the universe. The news was snuck without attribution or comment into the New York profile of Silicon Valley venture capitalist Sam Altman, a brief sentence that might be our first warning of the apocalypse. Quote, many people in Silicon Valley have become obsessed with the simulation hypothesis, the argument that we experience as reality is in fact fabricated in a computer. Two tech billionaires have gone so far as to secretly engage scientists to work on breaking us out of the simulation. This line has been dutifully repeated by all the usual news sites, usually as a minor, amusing little anecdote, nerds versus the Matrix, tech shamans and their wacky ontological theories, without much thought going into what this would actually mean. Ignore for a moment any objections you might have to the simulation hypothesis and everything impractical about the idea. We could somehow break out of reality and think about what these people are trying to do. Something Luciferian persists in the techno-Gnostics of San Francisco. The two billionaires, Elon Musk is a prime suspect, are convinced that they'll emerge out of this drab illusion into a more shining reality, lit by a brighter and more beautiful star. Again, that's a little allusion, again, back to Lucifer there, so well done by the author. But for the rest of us, the experience would be very different. You lose your home, you lose your family, you lose your life and your body and everything around you. Simulation or not, everything would disappear. It would be the end of the world. Comic book movies and their own sprawling, simulated narrative universes have been raising the stakes to this level for years. Every summer, we watch dozens of villains plotting to blow up the entire universe. But the motivations are always hazy. Why, exactly, does the baddie want to destroy everything again? Now we know. Unsurprisingly, nobody bothered to ask us whether we want to end the world or not. They're just setting about trying to do it. Silicon Valley works by solving problems that hadn't heretofore existed. Its culture is pathologically fixated on the notion of disruption. Tech products no longer feel like something offered to the public, but something imposed. The great visionary looks at the way everyone is doing something and decides single-handedly to change it. The result is often unspeakably banal. Take, for instance, the Wi-Fi-enabled smart wine bottle. Finally, an end of the days of waving your wine bottle in the air in search for a 3G signal. It's rechargeable, too, so you never have to worry about your wine bottle running out of battery again. But it all adds up to something. Wealth is being concentrated in fewer hands. We own less and less of our own lives, and meanwhile, these brave entrepreneurs are automating ever more decent-paying jobs, turning humanity into an ungrateful sea of surplus flesh to be connected and quantified, but not necessarily fed, because that's what progress looks like. And once social reality is the exclusive property of a few geegaw thinkers, why shouldn't physical reality be next? With Google's Calico-seeking hedge fund investment for human immortality and the Transformative Technology Lab hoping to externalize human consciousness, the tech industry is moving into territory once cordoned or off for the occult. Why shouldn't the fate of the entire cosmos be in the hands of programmers hiding from their California sun to keep or destroy as they wish? Computer simulation might be new. The notion of a simulated reality isn't. In its modern form, the simulation hypothesis, as put forward by Oxford philosopher Nick Bostrom, argues that if the possibility exists for an advanced society to create vast computer-generated ancestor simulations, they will almost certainly do so. And with the vast amount of processing power available to them, they will be able to create many billions of these simulations. Statistically, our world is unlikely to be the real one. It's not just Elon Musk who stated that, quote, there's a 1 in a billion chance we're living in base reality, unquote. Who believes this? In an extraordinary piece of hedge fund betting, the Bank of America has judicially announced that the probability that waking life is just an illusion is, about 50-50. Yes, the Bank of America thinks that you're living in a real world is about 50-50. It makes sense. In a far more mundane way, we really are trapped in a computer. You could argue that tech billionaires who built their lives out of lines of code would only ever see the things that surrounded them as digital artifice. But there's always been this lingering suspicion that our reality is somehow unreal. It's just that what we once thought about in terms of dreams and magic, cosmic minds, or whispering devils is now expressed through boring old computers. That piece of clunky hardware that waits predatory on your desk every morning to code the finest details of your life. Kabbalist mystics, Descartes with his deceiving demon, or Zhuangzi in his butterfly dream have all questioned the reality of their sense experiences. But this isn't a private solipsistic hallucination. And the simulation hypothesis, reality is a prison for all of us. Its real antecedents are the Gnostics, an early Christian sect who believed that the physical universe was the creation of the demiurge, Camel, or Aldebaoth, sometimes figured as a snake with the head of a lion, a blind and stupid god who creates his false world in imperfect imitation of the real creator. This world is a distorted mirror, an image, in other words, a kind of software. The Gnostics were often accused by other early Christians of Satanism, and they might have had a point. Many identified the jealous, petty, prurient god of the Old Testament with the demiurge, while sects of the Ophites revered the serpent in the Garden of Eden as the first to offer knowledge to humanity, freeing them from their first cage. And something Luciferian persists in the techno-Gnostics of San Francisco. They've decided that our universe is the conscious creation of a higher power, and now they're amassing their armies to storm the gates of heaven and go to war with God. And like Goeth's Mephistopheles, their doctrine is omnicidal. All that exists deserves to perish. Our unknown creators could always just hover the mouse over their weightless and unreal bodies and press delete. Just a little tweak the formula. All that appears to exist must be destroyed. There's something admirable in this blasphemous ambition, but it's based on some very shaky ideas. It helps to look at an influence on simulation theory that's a little better known than the Nag Hammadi codices, 1999's The Matrix, in which a gang of heroic freedom fighters try to wake humanity from a false computer-generated universe and return them to the real world. The film has plenty of knowing references to these older traditions and to some newer ones. In one scene, Neo is shown hiding his cash in a hollowed-out copy of Jean Baudelaire's Simulacra and Simulation, appropriately a black handbook edition that doesn't seem to have ever actually been printed. The philosopher himself wasn't particularly pleased, insisting in an interview that the film fundamentally misunderstood his work, that, quote, "The Matrix is surely the kind of film about the Matrix that the Matrix would have been able to produce," unquote. In the Matrix, there's a real world behind the simulation. It's not pretty, but it's the truth. In his book, Baudrillard also talks about virtual realities and deceptive images. But his point isn't that they have clouded our perception of the reality beyond. The present system of social images is so vast and all-encompassing that it's produced a total reality for itself. It only lies when it has us thinking that there's something else behind the facade. Baudrillard, always something of an overgrown child, loved to refer to Disneyland. As he pointed out, it's in no way a fake. When you leave its gates, you return to an America that's just one giant Disneyland, a copy without an original, from coast to coast. The simulacrum is never that which conceals the truth. It is the truth which conceals that there is none. That seems like a tautology. Seems like a contradiction. That the simulacrum is never that which conceals the truth. It is the truth which conceals that there is none. Digital and cinematic media actively constructs our experience of reality. The world of film stars and theme parks, social media, and supermarket shelves designed to look like something out of an old-time grocery. And this is the one we live in. Our Silicon Valley Satanists have made a very questionable assumption. What if there's nowhere to break out into? Baudrillard was talking about social rather than material reality, but his point stands. Say the simulation theorists are right, that a hypothetical advanced civilization has nothing better to do than create a fake reality that includes Stevenage, San Bernardino, tax returns, and the banal revolutions of the tech industry. If reality is whatever's mutually agreed upon, or in Philip K. Dick's phrase, that which when you stop believing in it doesn't go away, does it make sense to then start talking about fake realities and real ones? As Deleuze argued, the virtual is also real. Why is a universe composed of software necessarily any less real than one composed of matter? Computer simulation is, of course, only a metaphor, a newish way of describing what was once expressed in oniric or theological terms. They can't really mean that our universe was built in something similar to the machine you're using to read these words right now. Simulation is a process independent of whatever divine or technological apparatus is used to achieve it. The real argument is that, by some unknown mechanism, what we see is only a function of what really exists. But what we've known since Kant, that our sense perception can never give us a full account of the material world, all this can be said of any conceivable reality. Kantian epistemology and metaphysics. Outside of simulation hypothesis, there are scientists who propose that our universe is a single black hole, with what we perceive as matter being a hologram emerging from a two-dimensional ring of information along its event horizon. There are mathematical Platonists who, following Max Tegmark, consider the world to be a set of abstract mathematical objects, of which physical objects are a crude epiphenomenon. If matter doesn't really exist, there's no need for anything to be rooted anywhere. We might live suspended in a looping chain of simulations and appearances that coils back on itself and never has to touch the ground. Elon Musk and his co-religionists aren't actually blinded by artifice. They're fixated on a strange and outdated notion that somewhere there has to be a concrete reality. They've just decided that it's not this one. It doesn't really matter what top secret projects are being cooked up in their airily malignant campuses. They're highly unlikely to ever shatter the bonds of physical reality. After all, our unknown creators could always just hover the mouse over their weightless and unreal bodies and press delete. What's far more worrying is the fact that the people who want to destroy the only world we really have are also the people increasingly in charge of it. That's an article by Sam Criss, a writer out of the UK. And so, guys, that is going to conclude today's stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this. As we see, I thought this was a really good and important topic. That, in fact, we do see the people who believe in the irreality of this world are the ones that tend to be in charge of it. We see, as the article said, that wealth is being concentrated into fewer and fewer hands. We see that the people who are in charge are wanting to automate everything. And this means that people in fleshly bodies are only in the way, and that somehow they're going to need to be getting rid of one way or another. That would make you think that maybe this is leading to a sort of depopulation. And that would make you think maybe that has something to do with what's going on right now. Maybe that has something to do with what the Great Reset is about. Maybe that has something to do with why 2030 is the end date to get so many of these projects accomplished. So keep this in mind. I think that the transhumanism, I think that the AI God that is moving forward, that this is really one of the bigger threats to us, especially as Christians. And we need to stay on our toes. That could it be that the Gnostic yearnings, the sort of satanic parallel of Gnosticism, be totally present today? I think so. I think so. So anyways, that's going to be the end of today's stream. Please smash that like, guys, if you can. It doesn't look like we have any super chats. Wow, I'm really surprised. Not a single person super chatted. So anyways, if you guys could, remember, if you would like to support Church of the Eternal Logos one way or another, you could do so with this link right here. I would greatly appreciate if you guys went over to the website, davidpatrickcarey.com/register, churchoftheeternallogos.com/register, doesn't really matter, and become a website member. I have a whole video library there. It's $5 a month. I would greatly appreciate that. It's a great way to support this channel. In exchange, I can give you guys a video library of access to exclusive content. I hope to produce another video to put up this week for members only. Also, if anybody would be interested in setting up a one-on-one session, you can do so with the following link right here. I would greatly appreciate that. If you want to talk about theology, philosophy, world religions, mysticism, magic, fitness, goal setting, whatever it be, you can do so with the link that I just posted in the live chat. Or if you'd prefer to help out by just getting something, you can do so with this link right here and just purchase something over at the shop. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. Oh, we do have a super chat. Oh, right. Thank you so much. We have Mikhail, the King of Kings, right here. I'm going to replay your super chat. Love it, brother. Mikhail, King of Kings, is one of our newest moderators over here in the chat. So, shout out to Mikhail, the King of Kings. Thank you very much, brother, for your super chat and $20. He says, God bless you, brother. Well, God bless you, man. Thanks for helping out in the chat. We got a lot of good guys over here in the chat. Oh, Michael and Maria, thank you guys so much. Shout out to Michael and Maria. Great Orthodox couple. Looking forward to Wednesday night. I hope Michael and Maria, I hope you guys will be able to join Wednesday night. We'll be diving back into the hymn of entry. So thank you so much. Michael and Maria super chat, and they say, keep up the great work. Well, thank you so much, Michael and Maria. Shout out to you guys. God bless you and your family. Again, I hope your son is going back to church with you. I know that he did that one Sunday, so I hope he is. I hope that he is going back with you. Another super chat from Allison. Allison throws in $5 and says, "Thank you for the stream. You're always giving us so much great content." Well, thank you so much, Allison. Yeah. Shout out to you. Allison had a great conversation with Michael Sisko. If you guys can, go subscribe to Allison's channel, A Devotional Heart. Help our Orthodox sister out. She's also a content creator. Help her out. Help her get her channel going. This content creation business isn't easy. It's not easy. It actually takes quite a bit of work. But thank you so much, Allison. Again, she says, thank you for the great stream. You're always giving us so much great content. Thank you very much, Allison. Thank you very much, Michael and Maria. And thank you so much, Mikhail, King of Kings. I thank you guys so much. Reading some of the chats here. Jimmy says, oh, you did. Oh, yeah. Did you check out the link I sent you? Yeah, I did check that out. I have that pulled up right here. Here, I can actually pull that. Let me go there. Let me go here. Let me go here. So this was actually the but Jimmy was talking about. This is the website for the way of the future that no longer exists for some reason. So Jimmy went and pulled that up. Let's see. From people to machines, given that technology relatively soon, past human abilities, yada, 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 things we believe. We believe that intelligence is not rooted in biology. While biology has evolved one type of intelligence, there is nothing inherently specific about biology that causes intelligence. Eventually, we will be able to recreate it without using biology and its limitations. From there, we will be able to... Human milk is vegan. Thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. I'll read that in just a moment. From there, we'll be able to be on to beyond what can do using our biological limits, such as computing frequency, slowness, and accuracy of data, copy, and communication, etc. We believe in science. Oh yes, the famous proclamation of faith. I believe in science. I believe in science. Don't you believe in science? So here, let me share this link. Thank you so much, Jimmy. I'm going to share this again in the live chat. So anybody wants to see this back up to the old website, you can do so right there. Thank you very, very much, Jimmy, for doing that. Thank you, Michael and Maria, again. Thank you, Mikhail, the King of Kings. Thank you, Allison. Is human milk vegan? Throws in a super chat. Thank you so much, brother. He says, if Elon's living in a simulation, he should give us some of those simulation bucks. I know, right? Apparently he's got the 1 and 0 code on how to build up that bank account. What is he, like $32 billion worth or something like that now? So that would be nice. That would be nice to have some of that money. But I'm sure, again, there has to be an exchange of one's soul for something like that. It seems like an awful lot. So I don't want to know what people have to do in exchange to get that kind of money. But yeah, well, God bless them. I hope they become Christian. Maybe they'll become Orthodox one of these days. I doubt it, but that would be good. Jimmy says, laugh out loud. I find it more spooky that the site actually went down sometime this year / late last year. Oh yeah, that's a great point, Jimmy. They probably did take it down because it'd be too dang obvious what's going on. Exposing Powerful Lies says, much love to everyone here. God bless and preserve the orthosphere. Amen to that. Yeah, Dangerfield Henley said, it's weird that they use the Trinity knot as their symbol. Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. It is. Very, very strange. The whole thing is sus. Very sus. But these people want to dominate us. So what can you do? Musk giving lectures about how AI is a demon. His solution, merge with it. Microchips in your brain. Exactly, Theodore. That's what I mean. He gaslights you. He'll go on Rogan and tell you that the scariest thing of the future is AI. Yeah, talk about it's almost demonic, not wanting to let Lewandowski get his hands on the AI. And then he says, oh, but we're going to go ahead and implant it in your brain through Neuralink. What? Uh-huh. Makes no sense. No sense at all. Mr. Night Owl says, easier to get a camel through the eye of a needle than a rich man getting into heaven. Yeah, I would say, especially if you have $32 billion, and part of that money is going to be from putting microchips in people's brains. If you can't beat them, join them. Hilarious. Exposing lies. Love it. Again, shout out to A Devotional Heart. Go subscribe to her YouTube channel. KK says, thank you, DPH. God bless you. Well, thank you, KK. God bless you and your family. Hope all is well. Thomas Henderson said, your content is mind-blowing. Well, thank you so much, Thomas. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Stellar said, or Rat Tail said, stellar stream, DPH. Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys appreciated it. Danger Henley said, COTEL, awesome stream as usual, top notch. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. I really do. So thank you all for being here. Looks like I don't see many other messages directed at me specifically. So, Thomas Hinder said at Dangerfield, Henley, you will be like God is an old temptation. That is for sure. As Human Milk Vegan says, without this techno-Gnostic cult, the stabbies and tracking doesn't look like it's really the end time system, but with the cult, looks very much like, yeah. Well, the thing is that they're open about it, and they actually want to, for them, they're, and that's what I've talked about before. The singularity is the end times. Right, I think that these technological futurists is that they are anticipating this moment in history that is like a pivotal end, some type of pivotal, be it apocalyptic, be it a millenarian, be it something that just radically shifts the world, time and history. They think it's the singularity. They think that it's going to be us merging with machines. It could be them, in fact, putting in place, which again, this is what we think as Christians, the building blocks for the coming of Christ. I mean, ultimately, this is the spirit of the Antichrist. And so I'm really anxious to see how this one world government gets centrally located, and the capital being Jerusalem. That's going to be really, really insightful. As soon as we see that, guys, as soon as we see that, that's when to really hedge your bets. Hedge your bets then, because we know, as I said, according to Orthodox theology, the Antichrist is going to be the inversion of Christ. He's going to be a Jewish man. I've heard speculation that he'll probably be a homosexual man. He's be very good looking. People are going to worship him like a god. He's going to be a military political leader. He's going to rule out of Jerusalem. There's going to be the third temple. What else? The third temple. He's going to be born from the Golan Heights, which we know Israel just took over during the Trump administration. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff unfolding. It's hard not to think that we are somewhere close. Are we there? I don't know. When every day that goes by, it looks like we're getting closer. I saw that Biden is wanting to do a stabby mandate for interstate travel. We heard that a few months ago, and then there was outrage, and then they said, we were just thinking about it, and then I saw that looks like they're wanting to move forward with some of that stuff. So who knows? Who knows what is going on right now? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Yes, Jimmy threw in the link for Allison. Thank you very much for that, Jimmy. Ray says, great stream as always. Thank you very much, Ray. I appreciate that. The Orthodox Logos, shout out to Schema Beats. Shout out to Ian. Shout out to the Orthodox Logos. Here, I'm going to throw you. I'll make you a wrench too, brother. The Orthodox Logos says, let me donate real fast. Laugh out loud. Well, you're more than welcome, brother. Thank you so much. You've been very generous, Ian. I really appreciate it. Master Night Owl says, I wonder if the stab is some of the sort of pre-treatment for the chip in the brain. Well, of course it is, Mr. Knight. I think that, again, this is all sort of typology. This is all sort of a Pavlovian process of getting people used to what's coming, and that the mandating of these stabbies, and then obviously the health consequences from it, it's going to slowly eliminate the size of the population, smaller, and then eventually they're just going to move the stabby to the chip, and then once they get the chip in, that's really the end point, I think, of a lot of this stuff. So, Allison says, much more great content will be posted soon. Interviews with John Pro, exposing powerful lies, Pano, Dorman 360, and hopefully Rat Tail, Bobby's perspective, and DPH. Yeah, I'll do a conversation, Allison. I'll definitely help you out. I'm sure we'll have a good one. Donna says, the jab is getting people used to saying yes. Yes, exactly. Classic tactic. Get people to say lots of little yeses so that they're conditioned to say the big yes. Exactly, Donna. You're totally on point. Totally on point. Jimmy says, it sounds like you're halfway describing Satan there. Lindenbrook, looking forward to all your upcoming interviews. A Devotional Heart. Let's see. My Mr. Night Owl says, it's a good point, Donna. Kind of like the temperature gun being stuck to your head when you go somewhere. Conditioning for people to get used to a person in uniform holding a gun to your head. Exactly. Exactly. Ecstatically Ever After with Claudia says, amazing. I stumbled across one of your videos earlier this evening, and this is the channel my heart has been seeking for years. Thank you, and God bless. Well, thank you. I'm glad that you're here. I hope you enjoy some of the content. The Orthodox Logos, Ian says, nothing to say, but let me donate. Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate Ian. He said, so we just got it come in. He said, great stream. Here, I'll replay it. Ian to the Wild said, great stream. God bless. Hope to join the class this week. Finally, been working on this magazine. Talk soon. That sounds great, Ian. God bless you, man. Ian is putting together an Orthodox magazine, so shout out to him. Excellent project. Again, that's always always moving the community forward. So, thank you, Ian, for, again, Schema Beats, for your music. Thank you for all the support, brother. I really appreciate it. Shout out to you and your family. Hope everything is going well down in the AZ. Staying cool, man. I bet it's warm down there. So let me see here. Mr. Knight says, good point, DPH. Thank you very much, brother. Devotional Heart says, Claudia, you'll have hours and hours of videos to watch now. He's got a ton of content here and on his website. That is true. I do have a ton of content. Theodore said, at least they are using this to make a compliant population and to transfer wealth upward. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all the good things, right? Make sure that the wealthiest get wealthier and that the poor get compliant to actually be okay with your own death. Yes, Ian, snap, mod life. Thanks. No problem, brother. Thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. And Donna says, glad you found it ecstatically. I'm new here too. Well, thank you so much, Donna. I'm glad you're enjoying your time. And a Devotional Heart says, Claudia literally... Oh, stop, Allison. Thank you very, very much. With that, guys, I'm going to hop off here. I really appreciate everybody donating here at the last end of the stream. Let me go back over them real quick. Mikhail, the King of Kings, donates and says, God bless you, brother. God bless you, Mikhail, King of Kings. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Michael and Maria. Thank you so much. They threw in a super chat and said, keep up the great work. I will. Absolutely. God bless you and your family. And I hope your son is going to liturgy with you. Shout out to Allison, who throws in a super chat and says, thank you for the stream. You're always giving us so much great content. Well, thank you, Allison, for your support, and God bless you in your work. Is Human Milk Vegan throws in a super chat and says, if Elon's living in a simulation, he should give us some of those simulation bucks. Yeah, I wish. I mean, he's got enough to give at least some to every person in the world, right? He's got 32 billion. And then shout out to Ian to the Wild, Schema Beats, the Orthodox Logos, and he says, great stream, God bless. Hope to join the class this week. Finally, been working on the magazine. Talk soon. Can't wait, brother. Can't wait. And we do, what he's talking about is our Wednesday theology course. If anybody wants to join us, you can do so. You can do so with my Linktree link. And there you can follow me on Telegram, both my channel and my group chat channel, and that's where we share the Zoom links for the Orthodox theology courses. Oh, the Norwegian News is in the house. Shout out to the Norwegian News. Shout out to Father Deacon. God bless you, Father Deacon. Again, patristic faith is off the ground here. Let me point that out real quick. Instagram. Let me do a little promotion of patristic faith, guys. If you don't know, shout out to Father Deacon and all his hard work. We are now building something that I think is very, very exciting. We are collaborating. We are bringing all of our apologetic work together in a little something called Patristic Faith. What I just shared with you guys is the new Instagram page of Patristic Faith. This is Father Deacon, Jay Dyer, Brother Augustine, myself, and I think David the Real Medway. I'm not sure who else is involved. Forgive me for anybody not remembering. But yes, we are putting something together. We're going to start putting our powers as one force, and patristic faith is what we are calling it and what we're doing. So shout out and thank you to Father Deacon for his hard work in getting this organized and getting this put together. So please follow us on the various patristic faith sites and any accounts you see of patristic faith. Support us. We are doing our apologetic efforts. We are going to convert people. We are going to try to do a little soul saving, little Orthodox soul saving is what we're doing. So shout out to Father Deacon. God bless you, brother, and everything you do. So with that, guys, I am going to hop off here. Yes, Thomas Hinder said the Ortho Bros are uniting. That's exactly what we're doing. And this is a way that our works can feed onto each other. So the idea is that you can go to the Patristic Faith site once everything gets set up, and you can have access, and all of our followings and our content kind of bleed on. We all have different angles, we kind of fit nicely together. We all have different approaches to the immense faith of the Orthodox Christian Church. So wonderful. Again, God bless Father Deacon, his efforts, his family, his wife. Hope everybody's doing well. And so I will see you guys all next time. Please enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. And I will be back either Tuesday or Wednesday or Friday. But then next week I'll be in South Carolina with family. So if anybody's in the South Carolina region, reach out. Anyways,